Following are scientific facts true to my knowledge as imparted by my therapist. That the body can panic for a maximum of 30 minutes, that severe anxiety can trigger panic attack, that OCD condition causes one to feel heightened levels of panic, that you can never predict the trigger for the onset of your own panic. In other words, panic attack is a scientifically proven solitary experience, so enjoy the ride. 1. Freedom, they say, is the distance between the hunter and its prey. I don't know how to measure mine. It mostly seems to be a unit of time that the body holds on to while on the slack line. My acrophobia doesn't stop the heart from taking a free fall into the stomach, a trampoline that keeps throwing it around while frostbite crawls up the spine. 2. My panic attack is the hunter buried in my own body, whose resurrection is now a muscle memory that I try to forget every time I walk through the airport security. I can see it. In my handbag, on the conveyor belt, waiting to be flagged, her hands frisking me harder. She can smell the adrenaline curdling in my blood. They call the security instead of the paramedics when lungs start bullying the oxygen in my nostrils. Call the psych ward. Someone screams as I start searching for tranquilizers in the pocket of my jeans that I'm no longer wearing. Your body can panic for a maximum of 30 minutes. If you don't know what Aristotle's time paradox is, ask me. It's the primal state of my body when time does not exist. 3. The CISF try to probe words with their guns while I keep repeating myself, I need to find my cuticles, I need to find my cuticles, I need to find my cuticles. They find the prescription for tick repellents from my doctor. While she returns me the jeans, I realize it didn't have any pockets to begin with, while they dump the filer in the dustbin. 4. On days, my body tries to defy gravity by using the elevator, but my claustrophobia drags it down the stairs. Someone complains about the sweat. I can smell formaldehyde. I hold my breath by now. The body has gone in autopilot. I keep pressing the ground floor, the ground floor, the ground floor, the ground floor. The lady next to me says, hydrate yourself. I want to tell her I've forgotten how a parachute opens. I hear the elevator announcement. 10th floor, I jump out of the emergency window. 5. They tell me to rub sandalwood paste on our belly button so the grave robbers can find the cadaver while the chakras of my body are trampled over the wreckage left behind by the lawn mower that the yogi forgot in the garden when he said, meditation helps in conquering the fear. 6. My body wakes up from the nightmare at the sound of the alarm that explodes like a grenade that they planted in the womb of my mother. You see, I am an explosion that went on like a chain reaction, a war crime. So when they honk on the roads and I clench my teeth harder and hide behind a lamppost, when they tell me that my fears are nothing but insanity, I want to tell them, you see, I don't go looking for gifts behind a Christmas tree or tell myself that peace can be found in a cup of chamomile tea or aromatherapy. Instead, I let my organs swaddle themselves, for I know that embalming is the only way to preserve this body. 7. This isn't a list poem. It's an obituary for the 100 crumpled suicide notes that have turned the dustbin of my room into a cemetery, but not me, into a cadaver. Yet this is a war cry in an echo chamber whose doors open into a psych ward. This is an ode to the silence, which is the subtext behind every help ever offered. This is a disclaimer that depression isn't a synonym for every mental health discussion. This is a scream of every Professor Quirrell who dies in some psych ward behind the Voldemort's laughter. 8. I weave my tics into the performance as if it's a device that completes my poem. I don't let the world know that repetition isn't just a figure of speech when I ask the conductor, does this bus go to the railway station? Does this bus go to the railway station? Does this bus go to the railway station? When my house keys are tangled into my fidget spinner as I stand outside the door while my words drown in the epilepsy of my tongue, when all I have on stage is a shivering skeleton, when I repeat the same lines of my poem, the same lines of my poem, the same lines of my poem, I turn my panic into a metaphor, for that is what I'm good at, drawing comparisons. So I tell them these shivers are a breakdance of bones. The stutters, a syntax of a sentence you are yet to learn. I turn my panic attack into a nebula that explodes louder than the snaps that make me jump out of my skin, the flickering fluorescent lamp that makes the hair on my neck rise. I point at it. I tell them, you see, it's the lighthouse, so they don't see this capsized ship. Severe anxiety can trigger panic attacks. Severe anxiety can trigger panic attacks. You can never predict the triggers for the onset of your own panic. You can never predict the triggers for the onset of your own panic. I breathe with a mic. You see, repetition isn't always a figure of speech.